Joshua's farewell. Well, this brings us to the end of the book of Joshua. 7 years have gone by up to this point. God told him, I'm not going to drive out the Canaanites in 1 year because you wouldn't be able to occupy their cities fast enough, and wild animals would take over, and that would be a major problem. So it's now 7 years later. Joshua is ready to divide up the land and give every tribe their portion. Caleb comes to Joshua and reminds him that Moses guaranteed him a certain area. It's the area around Hebron. And so Joshua gives it to him. I like the story, and I have put it into the series about when he points to certain cities. Now, whoever conquers that city for me can have my daughter in marriage. Well, Othniel, his nephew, takes the challenge, takes his men, goes in there, conquers the city. So Caleb calls for his daughter. She comes riding up, and she's not concerned that she has been used as a bargaining chip here. She knows her cousin. They grew up together. This isn't a big problem. What the problem is that she wants more than what has been given to them. They were given a certain piece of land, which she calls Negev, which means dry and barren. It's not actually down in the desert. It's just a dry area. And she says to her husband-to-be, ask your uncle, your future father-in-law, your leader, ask him for that area up there that has a spring of water. Well, if you read between the lines here, he's not willing to go there. This is his uncle. That's true. It's his future father-in-law. That's true. Oh, but this is a great warrior, a great leader of their tribe, and he's the head of their clan. He's not willing to say, I want more. He's got the daughter, he's got the piece of land, he is content with that. So she gets off her donkey and faces her father. In my imagination, I can see the look on his face. That look. And how do I know that look? Because I have daughters just like this. And they'll face you down and to get what they want. And she says, what do you want? She says, you've given us this piece of land over here and it's dry. We want that spring up there. Give us both. Well, Caleb might be able to face giants and conquer cities, but he wasn't ready to tangle with his daughter. He gives her what she wants. Now, the truth of the matter is, she knew what was best here, because it'd be understood that whoever owns that upper land would allow the water to come down to the lower field. But once that's given away to someone and Caleb dies and years goes by, there's no guarantee that the water would be shared. So she got what she needed. One little side note here, trivia part, is that years later, King David, before he became king, has to deal with Nabal and Abigail. Well, they are from a little town called Carmel, not Mount Carmel, but they're near a little village that's down near that's down in the area of Caleb, because they are descendants of this man. And just a bit of trivia. It's time to send the 2.5 tribes back east over to the eastern side of the Jordan River. That's the tribe of Reuben, Gad, and half a tribe of Manasseh. Moses allowed them to claim their inheritance on the other side as long as they would come into the land with everyone else and conquer. Well, 7 years have gone by, and they have been true to their word. So they are sent back. Now, there's several things that are true. They are sent back with equal portion of all the spoils that they've taken. These men have their equal portion. So they're going back wealthier. They are going back with a bit of wealth to build up their area. Also, I imagine this is a bit of a sad time, because all these men have fought together. These were brothers. And now this group is leaving. So I imagine there was some partying going on, but also a bit of sadness. Add this. These men are arriving home different than when they left. They left with everyone else and went across the Jordan River, but now 7 years have gone by and these men have become warriors. They set up a monument called a witness that basically says, your great-great-grandchildren may reject us, may reject our great-great-grandchildren. And this monument says, no, we're a part of Israel, and we have the right to come and worship God in your land. And the other tribes thought they were trying to set up a place of worship and went roaring in there that, hey, well, what are you doing here? But when they explained it all, no, this is not a place of worship. This is only a monument to be a witness between us that we're still a part of your land. When Joshua gives his farewell speech, he reminds the people where they came from. I think just to give a little bit of an overview, you can remember the Bible if you think of 5 peaks in the history of the Bible. There are 5 peaks with valleys between each one. First of all, you have Abraham. And he is the founder of the family. He's the man of faith that starts the whole thing. And you might say the person that he sent forth was Joseph, great-grandson, to send him down into Egypt, prepare a place there. They are in Egypt. That's the valley where they become slaves. And years go by of slavery. But then God sends Moses, who leads the people out, gives them the law, and helps form them into a nation. His commander, who goes in the land and conquers, is Joshua. Then you have the valley of the judges, the time when the people fight against God, and God sends judges. And finally you have the next peak, which is Samuel. He comes along and there he teaches the people and sets up an educational system, the school of the prophets, and teaches the next generation. He thought his commander was going to be King Saul, but that didn't work out. But King David did. He takes the teaching of Samuel and he goes throughout and he conquers lands and brings about a great kingdom. Then you have the divided kingdom after that, and then the time of captivity. But then God brings the people back into the land and he raises up Ezra. Ezra teaches the people and brings their hearts to God. Now, he can't have a commander. He can't have an army because he's under the authority of Persia, but he has an army of scribes who go throughout all the people and teach them and puts the law of God into their hearts. Well, the valley after this is the valley of the intertestament times between the Old Testament and the New Testament. 400 years goes by, and finally God sends his own Son. Jesus comes, who dies for our sins, brings us back to God. And his great commander, he has his disciples, but his great commander that goes forth is Paul. So if you think of these 5 peaks, you have Abraham sending Joseph out, Moses with Joshua going out. You have Samuel with King David going out. Then you have Ezra with the scribes going out. And then you have Jesus with the Apostle Paul going out. I hope that gives you a little bit of an overview of the entire Bible, and everything else fits around these 5 peaks. Well, come back when we give you more insights on the story.